Today's lesson is Get Moving, the Hidden Risks of Sitting Down. Hi, everybody. My name is Roger.
And I'm Mike.
And today we're going to suggest that you get moving, stand up and move around. I know a lot of you are working all day long in the office and you've got deadlines and your boss is putting you under a lot of pressure. You just don't have the freedom to stand up and walk around. But still, I think the health of your employees is very important. So I think bosses out there should encourage their employees to get up and move around, just like the Japanese do when they make them do calisthenics first thing before a day of work.
Oh, I like that idea. And then, of course, after work, where you spent 8 hours sitting at your desk, tapping away at your computer, you get on a bus or a train that sort of lurches and throws you around in a crowded environment. Why not sit down there? Much easier to read your book or play with your phone. And then you get home and you sit down for dinner. And then you sit down in front of the TV or your computer, or you play video games, or you read a book while sitting in a nice comfy chair. And then it's time to lie down for a few hours. And then you get up to do all your sitting activities one more time. This is something people have probably only been doing in the many, many hundreds of thousands of years of human history. For about the last 100 years, people used to stand up more. They used to work on farms. They used to work in shops and different types of jobs like that. They weren't always sitting at desks, punching buttons on computers and writing on paper and things. So yes, we sit way more than our bodies are designed to. And as we kind of do this and we see some of the effects of people's whose entire lives, basically, certainly adult lives, have been sitting in a chair, we see some of the health benefits of this. It's not pretty. So yeah, this is a good little wake-up call, a little bit of shout out there, an alarm possibly even for those who sit too much. We're going to learn all about what's not so good about it, what we can do about it, and why we might want to invest in a stand-up desk or something a little bit modern and cool like that. So let's get moving and talk about the hidden risks of sitting down in our first paragraph. Get moving. The hidden risks of sitting down. Believe it or not, a recent study found that the average Taiwanese high school student sits for 10.1 hours each day, including hours spent studying. This may be great for grades, but a growing body of data suggests it's a recipe for health problems. As the consequences of moving less become better known, medical professionals are urging us all to take action.
大家好，第一部分介绍名词 professional， 它的意思是专家或是专业人士。例如 We'll need to hire a professional to fix our electrical problem. 我们需要聘请专业人员来解决我们的电力问题。或者 You should go to a professional if you want your computer fixed. 如果你想要修好你的电脑，就该去找专业人士。接着看到动词 urge， 表示力劝、催促。也可以是竭力主张的意思。例如 The coach urged the players to give their best performance in the game. 教练敦促球员在比赛中拿出最佳表现。或是 Parents often urge their children to do their best in school. 父母经常敦促孩子们在校要尽力而为。
Okay, let's talk about the first paragraph in today's lesson. It says, believe it or not. You could believe it if you want to, and you don't have to believe it if you don't want to. A recent study found that the average Taiwanese high school student sits for 10.1 hours each day, including hours spent studying.
So, I believe it.
It does sound right. I think a lot of people can plead guilty to that. If you're a high school student in Taiwan, you're sitting down for 10 hours every day. That's a lot, and that does include the time that you're spending studying at your desk in school or maybe doing homework at home. And, of course, it probably also includes the time that you're sitting down in a coffee shop or with your friends playing on your phone. Most people play on their phones when they're sitting down. So yes, indeed, lots of people sit down in Taiwan. Lots of high school students spend a lot of time sitting down, according to a recent study that was conducted here in good old Taiwan.
There you go, 10.1 hours each day. And considering you sleep for maybe 8 hours, that only leaves about 6 hours that you're awake when you're not sitting. So this is basically 2/3 of your life that you're awake. You're going to be sitting. And then, of course, there's that other third of of your entire life that you spend lying down. So yeah, we're not really actually standing on our feet, walking around, doing things vertically very much, are we? It says this may be great for grades. Absolutely. If you spend a lot of time studying, great. You're probably going to do well on your math exam or something. But a growing body of data suggests it's a recipe for health problems. So we're not saying, oh, I can't study anymore, teacher. I have to walk around a bit. No. We want you to still continue to study and do all of your schoolwork, but a growing body of data, more and more research and information that they've gathered over the years from hospitals and general health quizzes and things like that. So more and more evidence, in other words, suggests it's a recipe for health problems. When we talk about a recipe, generally we're talking about a list of ingredients and steps that you need to follow to make a dish successfully. We're talking about a cooking recipe. It's basically the directions or the how-to for how to make something. But we also use it when talking about how we can kind of create the ideal situation for something. If you leave a hot pot full of boiling water on the stove with a young child around, this could be a recipe for disaster or an accident. You're not supervising the kid. You don't have your eyes on that kid. An accident could happen. Something terrible could take place. It's a recipe for disaster or a recipe for an accident. So we're not saying this is how you do it, but this is kind of creating the ideal circumstances or situations to have some kind of result. Often a negative result, an unintended and unwanted result, but it could be the recipe for success as well. If you have good parents and go to a good school and work hard, that could be the recipe for success in your educational career or something. But sitting too much and not standing and moving around, that is a recipe for health problems.
Right, so we've got a growing body of data. A body of just means a large amount of something, and it's getting bigger and bigger all the time. We've got this information, we've got this data that's sort of telling us that sitting down for a long period of time every day could cause health problems. And as the consequences of moving less become better known, medical professionals are urging us all to take action. Okay, so yes, we have this information, but we don't really have any solid conclusions yet. The information is still pretty new. So as the consequences or the results of moving less become better known, the more we know about them, the more we can make connections between sitting still and having certain health problems. The more we know about those things, then medical professionals will urge us to take action. We've got professionals here. That's somebody who works for a salary and they have been trained to do their job. So these are doctors, nurses, the kinds of medical professionals who know about these sorts of things, and they will examine patients and they will say that, hey, these problems are coming about because you're sitting all day long. You should get up and move around. And as a result of them seeing these problems in their patients, they are urging us all to take action. Now, if you urge someone to do something, you basically recommend to them that they should do that. So they're saying that we should all take action. We should do something about it. We should not only do something about it, but we should actually be active in our lives. Get up and move around every once in a while and try to have a more active lifestyle. Okay, we're at the end of the first part of our lesson for today. Let's move on now to the second part and find out more.
Scientists aren't entirely certain how being sedentary damages our health, but there is a general acceptance that it affects our muscles and metabolism. Sitting for long periods denies an individual's muscles the chance to be active. This causes the person's metabolism to slow, which in turn alters their body's ability to regulate blood pressure and blood sugar levels. A slow metabolism and sedentary lifestyle also increase the risk of gaining weight.
第二部分看到形容词 sedentary， 它的意思是久坐不动的或是缺乏运动的。例如 Brian's sedentary lifestyle was having a negative effect on his overall health. Brian 久坐不动的生活方式对他的整体健康造成了负面影响。也可以说 My friends are all office workers, so they lead sedentary lifestyles. 我的朋友们都是上班族，所以他们都过着缺乏运动的生活方式。再来介绍名词 acceptance， 表示认可、接纳、相信或是接受。可以说 It sometimes takes years before changes in the law find acceptance among the people. 有时法律的修改需要数年时间才能得到人们的认可。又或者说 Acceptance of the truth is the first step in fixing your life. 接受真相是恢复生活的第一步。下一个看到动词 alter， 它的意思是改变或是修改。例如 The company had to alter its business model to adapt to the changing market. 那这公司不得不改变其商业模式，以适应变化中的市场。再看一个例子 Due to unexpected circumstances, we may have to alter our travel plans. 由于意料之外的情况，我们可能得改变我们的旅行计划。
Okay, here in the second part, it says scientists aren't entirely certain how being sedentary damages our health, but there is a general acceptance that it affects our muscles and metabolism. So we've got scientists working on this problem, and again, the information is new, so they haven't really come to any solid conclusions yet. So they're not entirely certain. They're not certain 100% how being sedentary damages our health. Now, the word sedentary means that you're sitting down, basically. So if you are sedentary, that means you sit down a lot. People in wheelchairs, of course, are sedentary because they have no choice. They have to be sitting in their wheelchairs all the time, unless they lie down to sleep or if they go swimming or something like that. But most of us who work in offices are sedentary most of the time. We're sitting in front of our computer screen, and scientists are not really sure exactly why that's bad for our health, but there is a general acceptance that it affects our muscles and metabolism. They all pretty much agree that it does affect our muscles and it does affect our metabolism, which is basically the chemical process in our body that makes us live when we eat and we produce energy from our food. That's metabolism, 新陈代谢, as you say in Chinese.
Sitting for long periods denies an individual's muscles the chance to be active. All right, never went to medical school, but this makes sense to me. Yes, if you don't use your muscles because you're lying down or sitting down, your muscles aren't working. They're just kind of sitting there being soft and losing mass, kind of dying away slowly. This is the same way that, when people go to space and they come back to the Earth 6 months later, their muscles have kind of wasted away because they're not using their muscles to move around or hold their weight up in a zero gravity environment. Well, when you're sitting down, many of your muscles are kind of in a zero gravity environment. I mean, they're holding you together and keeping your body upright, but they're not really doing much. They're not moving. They're not lifting. They're not being forced to strain themselves. So they're basically just sitting there useless. This causes the person's metabolism to slow, which in turn alters their body's ability to regulate blood pressure and blood sugar levels. Our bodies are made to move, and that's what they did for hundreds of thousands of years, even millions of years, going back to our ape ancestors. They're designed to move, and when our body stops moving, our metabolism slows down. Our energy system starts to go sort of into economy mode. I guess you could think of it like an air conditioner. You're using less energy because your body doesn't need it. You're burning less calories because your body isn't working out. If you go to the gym, you can eat a lot. That's a nice benefit of it because you're burning a lot of calories by exercising. But if you're not exercising or even moving much, then your body doesn't really burn that fat as much as it would normally, or as much as it really is designed to. And so this, in turn, the result of this, the consequence of this, is that it alters your body's ability to regulate blood pressure and blood sugar levels. So it's not just your muscles that'll kind of be getting smaller and, slowly wasting away. This will actually affect the chemistry of your body and how it is working on the inside. Your body will not be able to regulate your blood pressure as well, so your blood pressure could go up, putting more strain on your heart and your arteries and things like that. And as most of us know, blood pressure is an early form of heart disease. And also your blood sugar levels, and this connects more to things like diabetes and stuff like that. You're having a very rich diet with a lot of calories, a lot of sugar in it, and it is not something your body is able to use naturally because you're just not doing the exercise required to burn that stuff up. Your metabolism has slowed down so much, and this can eventually start to really affect affect a lot of your internal organs and your general health in a very real way.
Right, your body's used to sitting down, so when you need to have your blood pressure controlled or regulated, the body says, I don't know how to do that. I've been sitting all the time. I've kind of lost the ability to control the blood pressure, and I'm not sure how to regulate those blood sugar levels either. So you have to keep the body in check. You have to keep in practice. You have to keep standing up so that the body knows how to do these things. And a slow metabolism and sedentary lifestyle also increase the risk of gaining weight. And of course, we don't want to do that. Nobody wants to be fat because, of course, here in Taiwan, everybody reminds you when you're fat when you are fat. Okay, they never let you forget that. Okay, that brings us to the end of the second part of our lesson. Let's move on now to the third part.
Weight gain can be dangerous because obesity is linked to a host of illnesses, such as diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. These chronic conditions seriously affect a person's quality of life and significantly burden a country's healthcare system. Moreover, sitting for too long can also negatively affect a person's mood and energy levels.
第三部分看到形容词 chronic 指的是疾病慢性的或是长期的。举例来说 Harry has had chronic leg pain. Harry 有慢性的腿部疼痛。又或者说 Chronic stress can have a negative impact on one's health. 长期压力可能对一个人的健康产生负面影响。最后看到副词 moreover 它表示此外或是再者。可以说 The salad is fresher than the burger. Moreover, it's better for your health. 沙拉比汉堡新鲜，此外对你的健康也比较好。最后一个例子 Cats are cute animals. Moreover, they are very clean too. 猫是可爱的动物，此外它们也很干净。
Okay, so as we left off at the end of the second paragraph, we talked about increasing the risk of gaining weight. And weight gain can be dangerous because obesity is linked to a host of illnesses such as diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. So yeah, weight gain is bad. Of course, most people don't like to be fat because it just doesn't look good. You don't look pretty. You don't look handsome that way. You want to be nice and slim. But being heavy and having a lot of extra fat can be dangerous because we've got this problem of obesity, which means you're just too fat. You're over the limit of how fat you should be. Obesity, of course, is a big problem in countries like the United States and Mexico, and I think some Pacific islands have a problem with obesity. People are just too fat. They don't move around as much as they should. And obesity is linked to a whole bunch of illnesses, a host of illnesses, a large number of illnesses. And we've got some examples here, such as diabetes, 糖尿病, cancer, and heart disease. And we don't want to have those problems, do we?
Absolutely not. These are lifestyle problems, things that you can get sick if you just don't take good care of yourself. And once you get things like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease, it can be quite hard to get yourself back to sort of full good health. And as it says, these chronic conditions seriously affect a person's quality of life and significantly burden a country's healthcare system. Yeah, obviously, it's a great worry or fear or problem if you actually develop some of these health conditions. And part of the reason is because, as I said, it's hard to get back to healthy once you have things like diabetes and cancer. These are very tough diseases to beat or to manage, and they often become chronic for many people. A chronic disease is one that's always there. It's not like a cold that you'll get, and then your body will sort of fight it off, and eventually you'll kind of get over the cold and get back to good health. A chronic health problem is something that kind of sticks with you. It's almost impossible in some cases to get rid of it, or if it isn't impossible, it will be very, very difficult. Cancer treatments can involve rather radical surgeries, possibly, or long-term periods of chemotherapy, radiation therapy, drug therapy. It's not the kind of thing that it's sort of like, take a couple of these pills and you'll feel better in a week or something like that. A chronic condition condition or a chronic health problem is something you'll probably have to live with, and it will probably seriously affect your life, especially if it starts to get worse and worse. So this can affect a person's quality of life. It can really affect how you enjoy your life, the things you're able to do, the foods you're able to eat, the activities you're able to engage in, and stuff like that. And the cost of these diseases, as it says, it can significantly burden a country's healthcare system. Treating people with cancer and diabetes and heart disease is very expensive for hospitals or for the patients and insurance companies who have to pay for it. And in a country like Taiwan, where our taxes pay for hospitals and pay to take care of patients, we could save a lot of money if some of these diseases were not eliminated from society, but certainly appeared less, because things like cancer and heart disease and surgeries and whatnot can be very, very expensive. So that's the burden on the country's healthcare system.
Indeed, and I don't think Taiwan has the problem like the U.S. has with obesity, but people are getting fatter and fatter here all the time, so be aware of that. And indeed, if you have the chance, stand up from your desk and walk around for a few minutes. It will do you a world of good. So again, the country's healthcare system can be burdened if people have these chronic conditions like cancer and heart disease and diabetes. And moreover, or in addition, also, sitting for too long can also negatively affect a person's mood and energy levels. So that's not good. If you're sitting for a long time, you'll be in a bad mood because you're just not moving around. Of course, you get good mental health if you move around a lot. And of course, you have a lot of energy if you exercise a lot. If you're sitting at the desk all day, you're going to be kind of depressed a little bit. And when you go home, you'll just want to sleep. You just won't have the energy to do anything else. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion for today. Here comes Hanny.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。课文第一部分有用到 a growing body of data 来表达越来越多的数据。 A body of something 可以表达大量的什么什么，常常用来形容大量经由搜集而来的事物，像是证据啊、资料啊、知识等等。那么在课文第三部分，它则用到 a host of illnesses 来表达许多疾病。 A host of 则是表达大量的、许多的。好，那我们也补充另外两个用法。第一个补充的是 a wealth of， 它后面可以接复数可数名词或是不可数名词来表达丰富的什么、大量的什么。名词 wealth 在这边就是表达丰富大量，像我们可以说 a wealth of experience 就是丰富的经验。第二个补充的用法是 an array of， 后面可以接复数可数名词或是不可数名词，也可以表达说大量的什么、大批的什么。这个名词 array 它就有一大批、一大群的意思，像 an array of colors 就可以表达许多不同的颜色。好，那我们看到课文第三部分，它有提到肥胖跟许多疾病有关，像是糖尿病、癌症和心脏病。那么糖尿病的英文是 diabetes。我们来补充一下它的字首，看到 DIA 这个字首呢，它表示穿越、跨越，它可以指从这一端到那一端两端之间，所以 DIA 它就有在点点点之间的意思。那它也可以指涵盖从这一端到另一端的范围，所以 DIA 它有完全彻底的意思。好，那我们看到在 diabetes 这个字当中，它的字首 DIA 表示穿越，字根 BETES它表示走，那合在一起 diabetes 字面意思是 pass through。 其实在拉丁文和希腊文中的 diabetes 表示排尿过多，那这是糖尿病的症状之一，也许就可以用一直有尿液流过、通过 pass through 这样的方式去联想到 diabetes 它表示糖尿病。好，我们顺便补充两个有相同字首的单字。第一个补充的是 diagnosis， 它的字首 DIA表示完全或穿越，字根 GNOSIS 表示知悉或是知识。我们可以联想完全知道病情，那就表示诊断出病症了，所以呢 diagnosis 它就表示诊断啊、诊断结果。补充的第二个单字是 diagonal， 它的字首 DIA 表示穿越， gon 表示角度 al 是形容词字尾。那同学们可以试着联想，对角线就像是从某个角度穿越到另一个角度。那么 diagonal 这个字当形容词，它是表达对角线的斜纹的，它也可以当名词来表达对角线斜线的意思。好，那么以上今天重点整理，我们回顾今天的单字吧。
Recipe. Hard work and talent make a good recipe for success. Professional. As a legal professional, Desmond provides advice to clients on complex issues. Urge. The teacher urged her students to study for the exam. Acceptance. Social acceptance is important for teenagers as they grow up. Alter. Mavis decided to alter her plans due to the bad weather. Chronic. Mr. Avery suffers from chronic back pain that has lasted for years. Moreover, Brenda is a very talented singer. Moreover, she can also play the piano.
Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of our program, and please make sure you join us again next time. From all of us here, I am Roger.
I am Mike.
See you next time.